A question here. The question is an add-on question to Daria's comments last night regarding fishing. Very nice. Could it be because of compassion rather than fear or shame that stopped her from fishing? She mentioned that she thinks the fishes are similar to herself. Furthermore, is there any relationship between compassion with fear and shame? Very much so. Fear and shame, if we say fear, fear actually is an unwholesome factor of mind. And in Buddhist Abhidharma, the Buddhist psychology, fear, bhaya, is nothing else but dosha, namely pratigha. Pratigha comes from the pratihan, resistance. It is very interesting psychology. In yoga, not only in Buddhist yoga, even in the Hindu yoga, the fear is the shade of the resistance against the object. When you have no resistance against object, you have no fear. Very interesting psychology. So this fear, of course, is always connected with unwholesome conditioning of mind. Now, when we speak of Hari and Ottappa as two lokapala, two protectors of the world, what is meant by here by shame and fear? They are positive, of course, because they are protectors of the world. Why they are protectors of the world? Because one who has mindfulness and wisdom, he does not do unwholesome acts because he has shame and fear of the bad consequences. Buddhism is a teaching of cause and effect. So shame is one does not do evil because of the respect for one's values. If one has no respect for one's values, anything can be done. Then the fear is fear of the consequences that arise due to unwholesome activity. It does not mean that one is afraid or resisting. It means a wisdom of avoiding doing evil due to understanding that it brings suffering. So it is a positive force. Especially the one who wants to practice the Bodhisattva path, the armor of the Bodhisattva is precisely this shame and fear. The Bodhisattva is one who wants to understand not just partially, but completely the law of cause and effect. in order to be able to help innumerable beings. So, because he has deep understanding of how wholesome actions bring happiness and unwholesome actions bring suffering, therefore he is always developing his shame and fear of the consequences of unwholesome actions. This is how it should be understood. So here it is only positive, not negative. It is always connected with understanding. That is why in the Abhidharma teachings, in the enumeration of the wholesome factors of the mind, first comes saddha, conviction. After conviction comes sati, mindfulness. When one has faith, when one has conviction, one will become mindful of what one is doing. When one is mindful, one will distinguish clearly between wholesome and unwholesome. Only those who can distinguish clearly between wholesome and unwholesome are panditas, are the wise ones. And because they can distinguish very clearly between the wholesome and the unwholesome, they are ashamed and here fear means otapa. Otapa is not like bhaya. Bhaya is a negative fear. Otapa, it comes from the root tap, means they are hot. O means ava, down. They are literally burning to avoid the consequences of evil acts. So the Bodhisattva is one who let the beings understand the undesirable consequences of evil acts. This is very much clear if you read the Jataka stories, the stories of the previous births of the Buddha. In his past lives, Buddha always developed the intelligence in regards to the law of cause and effect. That's why he was able to avoid so many different disasters and so much suffering. Because he predicted what will happen if beings act in a certain way. This is what is meant. It is translated as fear, but it is not just a negative fear. How would you translate otapa? Very difficult to translate. It is not exactly fear. They translate as fear, but it is not this kind of avatrapya. It's very it is some kind of intuition into the disastrous effect of unwholesome acts. So in this sense it is very positive. They translate it as fear. In this sense is not positive, but it is not just ordinary fear. It does not mean that one is afraid. No. One has a certain intuition about the unnecessary suffering caused by unwholesome deeds. So that is why these two, shame and call it fear, all right, why not? It's just a word. These two are the protectors of the world. It is said that as long as they are in the world, the evil cannot be victorious. But when they are not in the world, then the evil will be victorious. And you look at our recent history and you will see very clearly what is meant. How much suffering due to lack of shame from doing evil and due to not having fear of disastrous consequences of evil deeds. Okay, so now we have a question in Chinese. 宣教三伴做会影响禅定吗？宣教三伴，三伴不是 lotus， 宣伴是 lotus， 三伴是这样，我做三伴，像缅甸这样。This is 三伴，according to the yoga tradition, the asana, the posture has to be stable and comfortable. If you can sit in the full lotus posture without torturing yourself, it's fine. If you feel very comfortable in the half lotus posture, it's also fine. But there is this sanpan posture, this Burmese posture, can also become very stable. Especially for those who have some injury in the foot, like myself. It is much more advisable to sit in the comfortable posture than torture oneself in the lotus. Even if one can sit in lotus, one should not torture. And if one sits in lotus, one should be very careful that one sits properly. I myself, I have been sitting in lotus for a long, long time. All my hips spoiled because I did not sit properly. One has to be very careful, take the proper cushion, not too high, not too low. One has to sit so that the knees are supported. The same for the half lotus posture. If you sit and you are torturing yourself, as I was doing, unfortunately, so you may end up by ruining completely your bodies. I have seen many yogis, especially in the West, with artificial hips. So it's really not worthwhile.在家或外处如何保持不影响창조？这是早一点，你可以看吗？请慈悲，不要太超发。
在家或外出，如何保持不影响禅坐时的宁静心情？
宁是宁 ，OK。那창조什么的前面那个中国字？창조是时间的时那个是有一点吵。Okay, so the question is, when I am at home or outside, how to maintain the 不影响창조时的宁静心 how to maintain the peaceful feeling which how to maintain the peaceful feeling which 不影响창조时的宁静 which does not influence in the bad sense the peace of the meditation. So the only way is the practice, no other way. I never tired of repeating, in Buddhism we don't believe in self. Our self is our habits. If we have the habit of experiencing the peace of meditation, then it will become our nature. We don't need to struggle for it. And that, what we do not need to struggle for, that is natural to us. So one should try, if one wants to get used to meditation, one should just try to meditate every day. So now let us recite the Metta Sutta. And
This is too long because
how?
usually cause laughter. So yeah, it's always.
Okay. Om Mitomo. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya matta kusalena yantang santang padam abhisamecce. Sako ujuche sujuche suvacho chasse mudu anatimani. Santu sakoche subaroche apakkichoche salahukavuti. Santindriyoche nipakoche apagabo kulesu ananugindo. Nachakundang samachare kinchi yenye vinyu pare upavadeyong. Sukino va kemino hontu sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta. Yeke chipana bhutatti tasava tavarava anavasesa. Digha ye mahantava majima rasakha anakatulla. Dittha yeva adittha. Yechedure vasanti avidure. Bhuta va sambhave siva sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. Naparo param nikubbete natimanyete katanchinam kamchi. Vyarosana patighasanya na anyamanyasa dukam vichaye. Mata yata niyam putta mayusa eka putta manurakhe. Evampi sababhute sumanasam bhavaye aparimanam. Mettancha sabba lokasmin manasam bhavaye aparimanam. Udang adoche tiriyanche asambadam averam asapattam. Thittan charan nisinnova sayanova yavatassa vigatamindo. Etam satim aditteye brahmam etam viharam idam ahu. Ditinchanu paggama silava dasanena sampanno. Kame suvineya gedhang nahi jatu gambhaseyang punare titi. Etena sache vajena hotu te jaya mangalang. Etena sache vajena nasantu sabu padava. Etena sache vajena sabbe roga upasamentu te. Akasatta chabummattha deva naga mahidika. Punyantang anumoditva chiram rakantu loka sasanang. Akasatta chabummattha deva naga mahidika. Punyantang anumoditva chiram rakantu desanang. Akasatta chabummattha deva naga mahidika. Punyantang anumoditva chiram rakantu tumam parang. Etavata chammehi sambhadam punya sampadam. Sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etavata chammehi sambhadam punya sampadam. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Etavata chammehi sambhadam punya sampadam. sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya bhavaga upadaya avici hetato etantare satakaya upapana rupi arupi cha sanya asanya sanyino dukha pamuchantu fusantu nibutim. Om Mitobo.